What's up, guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here, and welcome back to my weekly Q&A session where you guys ask the questions and I give you the answers. Just want to take a second to thank all of you for all the kind words this week. It just reminds me of what an amazing community you really are, and I really do appreciate you. For those of you who want to submit a question to the Q&A and you're not sure how, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is ask it in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on Twitter, or you can submit it in the Discord, which is for our Patreon donors only. Speaking of which, since I haven't really brought up Patreon in some time, if you could do me a small favor today and just take a look at my Patreon page, there is a link in the description below. If you can donate, that's awesome if you can afford it. Basically, this helps me produce better videos for you, and so I hope that it's something that you can consider. But even if you can't donate, if you just stop by and check out the page, I appreciate that as well. So thank you in advance for doing that for me. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Our first question of the week comes from Halo 2 Jackal Sniper, and Halo 2 Jackal Sniper asks, Q&A Tyrant, even though 343 is going to be updating the MCC, and also since Microsoft said we might see a more classic experience on PC soon, should Halo 2 Anniversary get its own standalone release for Xbox and PC? But yeah, I think at some point, sure, I would certainly like that. I think a lot of people would, but I would hold off. Because if they release it for Xbox and PC in the near future, it would sort of eclipse all the work that they're doing for Master Chief Collection. Since we have a new major Halo title around the corner, we've got that, and then of course Halo Combat Evolved's 20th anniversary is only 3 years away, so I would think they would be doing something for that too. If I had to slate a release for a standalone Halo 2 anniversary game for both Xbox and PC, I would wait for the 20th anniversary, which is about 6 years off. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Our next question comes from Patrick Thomas, and Patrick asks, Q&A, are you planning on any Let's Plays soon on any other games, since Halo might be going through a Left 4 Dead 3 phase? Yes, in short, yeah, absolutely I am. There's a lot of games that I have on my list right now that I love to play, and to post up here for you, one is Alien Isolation. I'd also like to play Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'd like to return to the Resident Evil series for those of you who want to watch that, and I'd like to do some classic games too, back from the old days. But, you know, the thing of it is, what I need from you guys is to check it out. The problem that I seem to come across when I post content that's not Halo is getting people to watch it. It really seems to be hit and miss, and it's mostly miss. Now, if some of that content starts picking up speed and more people start watching it, then I can even do things like, you know, start taking requests and things like that. So yes, I do have more content from other games coming down the pipeline, and I hope you guys watch it, and I hope you enjoy it. Our next question comes from R401, and R asks, Q&A, which do you think is the easiest Halo mission? Easy. That's going to be Floodgate Halo 3. It can be beaten on Legendary in under 5 minutes with 0 shots. It's very simple to do, and it's actually a really good way for people to get started with their Lazo and Mythic campaign. So if you haven't tried it yet, if you haven't played any Lazo or Mythic mission in the Halo franchise, that's a really good place to start. Our next question comes from Pat Canny, and Pat Canny asks, Q&A, with the announcement update coming for MCC, do you think 343 may be planning to use it as an archive for all Halo games in one place? Hopefully with the new UI they could port Halo 5 over before or when Halo 6 comes out. If the fixes are what they claim, it could bring Master Chief Collection some new life and act as a long-term continually update Halo platform. Hell, if they add Reach and ODST, Firefight, it's a whole there. Yeah, in short, I think that it could be done, as long as it's done right. That's the key thing right now. I think one of the main concerns I have with the current Master Chief Collection is it's not easy to simply just pick a game that you like and pick a playlist within that game that you like. I think if they went that route, it would be easier. Yes, the playlist would be more fragmented and the populations would be lower, but it would allow, you know, Halo 2 fans could stick with Halo 2, Halo 3 fans could stick with Halo 3, and I think it would bring a lot more, a higher population to the Master Chief Collection as a whole. So I can see them doing that. I don't know if that's the route that they're planning, but it's certainly an option for them. Our next question comes from Joshua Ford, and Joshua Ford asks, Q&A, do you think spin-off games based off the Covenant lore would be successful, such as the Grunt Rebellion? I really just want to play as a Grunt. I don't blame you, my friend. They're pretty cool, aren't they? Well, funny story. So I actually have a mod for Halo PC where the Master Chief is replaced by an Elite. The Marines are replaced by various Elites, Jackals, and Grunts, and all the Covenant have been replaced by UNSC. it's fun at first just because it's different, but it gets a little stale after a while. Is it possible that they could do something like that? Maybe, but I don't know if it would be a great first-person shooter. I think it'd be kind of a more interesting add-on to a top-down game like Halo Spartan Assault or Halo Spartan Strike. But you never know. You guys let me know in the comments below. Would you like to play as a grunt, as sort of, at the very least, maybe as an Easter egg for a major Halo game? Our next question comes from Hazop H225, and Hazop asks, Q&A, the drought of Halo news lately has been bothering me as well, and I wondered if it was possible the silence is due to Microsoft possibly being very careful with releasing information. Well, they've always been really careful with releasing information. I think at this point, the reason they haven't released anything yet is they may not have anything polished to show us for the next major Halo title. They've always been very tactful when it comes to releasing information for their next game, but they just haven't shown anything for Halo 6 yet. I'm hoping they might do it at E3, but as I said last week, I have my doubts. So we'll see. Only time will tell, and E3 is next month, so hopefully we'll get some good news about Halo 6. Our next question comes from Alejandro Sosa. Always good to hear from you, my friend. And Alejandro asks, Q&A, do you feel dual-wielding should return at some point? While I feel Halo 2 had the best one, I would really like to have Wolfenstein style, say that 3 times fast, dual wielding at least once in a Halo game. I've always been a big fan of dual wielding personally. I understand why people wanted it taken out because of a multiplayer imbalance, but I find it interesting that the first campaign that they took dual wielding from is also a campaign that the enemies can dual wield, which was Halo Reach. So I would personally love it, even if it was only in campaign and in custom games. I think it'd be a great addition. It just gives more options to the player, you know? And it's sort of a more badass feeling when you can be able to hold 2 weapons at once. So I hope they bring it back. Is it possible? You never know. Only time will tell. Our next question comes from my bro, Alien King 1970. Always good to see you here, my bro. And he asks, how long can we go without a new Halo FPS before it no longer matters? With other franchises releasing fantastic games at a torrid pace, do you think people will lose interest before Halo 6 is released? I could not have put that better myself, my friend. So here's what I'm thinking. The big thing that they have to worry about right now is if they wait too long to release another Halo game, that opens up a lot of opportunities for other companies. Now, there's always going to be folks out there like you and me who, even if, 343 waits, 5-10 years to release their next major Halo title, will buy it anyway. But think of it as a lot of other franchises could step up between now and then. If you look at Half-Life, way back in the day, it was a revolutionary game. One of the few first-person shooters out there, if not the first one, to have a decent story to go along with it. They waited quite a while to release Half-Life 2, and in that time period, we saw the rise of both Halo and Call of Duty. So what they really need to do at this point is I'm still fine with them taking their time to release the next major Halo game, but we do need some information about it so that we have something to hold on to, because if we hear nothing, all we can really assume at this point is that it may not actually happen. They could have canceled it for all we know. I don't think that's actually the case. But no, I agree with you. If they wait too long to release the next major Halo title, they could lose their fan base to other franchises, and it could just, and not just players, it could be content creators too, who move along and find other things to talk about. So I think it's in their best interest, at the very least, if they're gonna wait a while to release the next major Halo game, at least give us some information to talk about to keep things interesting. So great question, my friend. Our next question comes from Nebulous Cheetah, and Nebulous Cheetah asks, Q&A, what if 343 was working on Halo 6 to be enhanced mobility, but because they saw how well it did in the early stages, let me rephrase that, they're working on enhanced mobility because they saw how well it did in the early stages of Halo 5's life, but as time went on, it seems more and more people want Classic. This hasn't really happened until the last year. What if 343 canceled their enhanced mobility Halo 6 about 1.5 years into possible development and started making a Classic style play instead because of the beginning uproar to go back? Well, there's possibility and there's plausibility. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. Is it plausible? I don't think so, even though people really want it. And as I've said in the past, I'm sure they'll do something like include a Classic playlist for, legacy players. The thing of it is, though, Halo 6 is supposed to be a direct continuation of Halo 5, and to drastically change the core mechanics of the game would be a problem. If you go back and look at Halo 2 and Halo 3, the mechanics are basically the same. They did add some things to Halo 3 and they tweaked a few other things, but for the most part, you could go from Halo 2 to Halo 3 with relative ease. If you went with enhanced mobility in Halo 5 and then went with classic style combat in Halo 6 and only classic style combat, I think you would have a problem for people who just jumped on the bandwagon, the Halo bandwagon. And so that could really be an issue. I hope that we can strike a balance between the two, because I know there's a lot of people out there who'd love to see classic gameplay come back. Personally, I see it more likely that they would make something like Halo Online following Halo 6 at some point down the road. Maybe that's what they would plan for a 20th anniversary for Halo, for all we know. But I still think Halo 6 is going to have some form of enhanced mobility. How enhanced? I don't know, but hopefully we'll find out soon. And our final question of the week, our star question, comes from Gospel Ghost. And Gospel Ghost asks, Q&A Tyrant, do you think future Halo titles should release earlier in the year instead of the fall to avoid competition with other major titles, such as Call of Duty? So, for those of you who are looking at the title and you're like, well, the questions don't really match, I'm basically using this question to talk about the next major Halo game, or the next Halo game that we heard of. But before I get into it, I do want to answer your question directly, and the answer is yes, I think it would be a great idea to avoid the fall release line. The main reason for that is because I've never really understood the fall release in the first place. I get that, you know, the holidays are coming up and it's a good opportunity for people to buy games as gifts. But if you release a game like in the spring or the late spring, then you get the people who would buy it while they're playing during summer vacation. You know, all those, you know, kids getting out of high school and out of college. It would give them plenty of time to play and actually enjoy the game. And it would also steer away from the major releases in the fall. I think it would be a very good move on 343's part to consider that. I know it would be a different direction from what we've traditionally seen with Halo, but I think it would be a very positive I think it'd be very positively received. If you look at Halo Wars 2, that game was fairly positively received. It didn't get as many sales as one of the traditional FPS games, but that's to be expected. It's an RTS game. That said, it looks like they might be experimenting with that, because yesterday Microsoft, more specifically 343, announced a new Halo title. Now, this title is a little bit different than what most people were expecting. It's called Halo Fireteam Raven. And essentially what it is it's an arcade shooter. And it's an arcade shooter that's coming to the Dave & Buster's franchise. For those of you who aren't familiar with Dave & Buster's, think of it like an adult Chuck E. Cheese, but the only rat there is someone who's had way too much to drink. Essentially, that's what it is. It's a restaurant, but it's got an arcade in it as well. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to go to. I haven't been to one in, I think, maybe 6 years or so, but, you know, this would give me reason to go back. It's a cool concept. I think having a Halo arcade shooter is a really neat idea. They've already stated that this is not interfering with their next console production, that another company is working on this. And I'll throw some footage up here so you can take a look at it. The graphics look like they would be pretty neat. I'm not sure how the game itself is actually going to work. If it requires me to stand and use two hands to use a fake gun, then that could be a problem. But it still looks like it'll be a lot of fun. If it's something that I can do, I'll certainly upload some footage so that you guys can check it out. I know not everyone who watches this show has a Dave & Buster's near them. I'm not even sure where there's one near me. There might be one. The one that I went to, you know, way back in the day was in New Jersey. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. A Halo shooter completely on rails, it kind of goes against the traditional freedom that Halo always sort of gives the player. But it's an interesting concept. You know, they're experimenting with new things. We've already seen real-time strategy games. We've seen top-down shooters. So it's something new to add to the mix. And it's a way to bring Halo to those who may not otherwise know about it. You know, for people who go to Dave & Buster's and may have heard of Halo, but they don't have an Xbox. So this would give another way for them to be able to play, too, and introduce new people to the franchise. And who knows, maybe after they play Fireteam Raven, they'll pick up an Xbox for themselves and buy some Halo games to go with it. That would be really cool. The game looks like it's going to be fun. I do hope that this is not the only Halo news that we get this year, aside from Master Chief Collection. I'd love to see the announcement of Halo 6. But this still looks like something that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to playing it, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts on it are. Are you looking forward to playing it? Do you have a Dave & Buster's near you where you can actually play it? And if not, are you going to be looking for videos that feature the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, or feel free to hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. And I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to sit down and watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I'll help you consider subscribing for more great content right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you all right back here next time, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.